dark and devious.
And her opponent, straight out of your mama's kitchen, Red Velvet.
Tony, how great is it to see Red Velvet back in action? 9 months away from the ring, making her return from injury.
280 days, 56 wins under her belt, though, and it is great to see Red Velvet back. I really enjoy this young lady. I think she's a great athlete. You see her right knee has a brace on it. Let's see how she does in this matchup. She got to be weary of the black mist. That is all part of what Julia Hart brings to the ring.
And fans, we heard the challenge earlier tonight. Kenny Omega, Don Callis, the Like a Dragon Gaiden street fight 1 week from tonight, presented by Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name, available tomorrow on console and PC, where Sega and RGG Studio take you on an epic adventure with a brutal combat in the Japanese underworld. And if Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho can make it out of that street fight, they will have to contend with the Young Bucks at Full Gear. Golden Jets versus the Young Bucks. If Omega and Jericho win, they get the Bucks shot at the AEW World Tag Team Championship. If the Bucks win, Jericho and Omega can no longer team up.
Yeah, a lot riding on that right now, but these two ladies right here, Julia Hart, Red Velvet, in a strong lockup, jockeying for position.
And Taz, I mean, you've suffered injury. Oh, wait a second, roll up here by Velvet. You've suffered injuries in your career before. You know how hard with that time away from the ring, you're stewing, you're focusing. All you want to do is be back competing. And now finally in that moment, sometimes it can be an adrenaline dump for you.
Absolutely, and from a mental perspective, it can. And that's the thing, Red Velvet cannot let that get in her head. Nice arm drag, by the way. You can't, because you just, oh, nice Japanese style arm drag. You just can't let it rent space in your head, and Red Velvet looks pretty good right now.
And if you're Julia Hart, you can't let it rent space in your head that you had a classic match at Wrestle Dream against Chris Statlander, TBS champion. Could have won that match, did not. It's her first match back since then. Let's see how her mind is.
Yeah, but in defeat, though, you can't sit on that. You try to learn. Oh, look at that right there, right out of the page of the leader of the House of Black.
This is almost a callback to their first encounter.
Yeah, the splits.
Now, that first encounter, I mean, happened just over 2 years ago. Red Velvet, the victory that match. And no, Julia coming in with a trip. Velvet goes down hard face first.
Yeah, I think Velvet thought she was going to step over. And what happened was Julia Hart, she threw her body a little bit towards closer. You don't see many people do that, but it's very smart, very creative.
Yeah, but even though she is weird and she is spooky, Julia Hart is a great athlete. I think we have talked about that so many times. Red Velvet working her over now. The fans are loving this.
Yeah, Velvet, her father was a professional boxer. She's employing those body strikes to drop Julia down and then using her flexibility, grinding that boot into the jaw of Julia Hart.
Yeah, Excalibur, you and I have spent many an episode of AEW Dark watching Red Velvet throw those awesome body shots for sure.
And now raining down right hands on the head of Julia Hart, but Julia escapes out, and Velvet, brutal landing for Red Velvet.
It's a hell of a counter, guys.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And fans, action in the women's division of AEW continues. Picture in picture.
Well, this is what Julia Hart wants right now, to have that advantage. She sort of was an opening to take out Red Velvet. Man, she is exploiting it.
Break her neck or what? My God. Look at that vacant stare that we have seen in Julia Hart since becoming a member of the House of Black. It's just like...
Yeah, no, she's just a different person since she's been with the House of Black for sure. I think it's great. I'll tell you what, Shivani, I think it's great. She's had a lot more success, Julia Hart, due to, you know, being aligned with the House of Black.
Yeah, that loss, and again, that match was a classic at Wrestle Dream. That loss was to Chris Statlander, only loss in 2023, Taz.
Yeah, and right, exactly. And there's no shame in, you know, if you get beat by someone like Statlander, TBS champion, you know, and Statlander's got such an amazing record herself. So there's no shame in that if you're Julia Hart. Wow, that knee, grabbing at the knee is Red Velvet as she gets thrown out of the ring here.
You know, and Taz, first time back with a serious injury that kept you out almost the entire year. I would think you'd be a little bit tentative at times.
Yeah, you know, you do. Because like I said earlier, it gets in your head a little bit. It really does. This happen to me. It does. You do get a teeny bit tentative.
Yeah.
And when that happens, that's sometimes when you get hurt worse, to be honest with you.
Right.
Because you can't. You got to let it all hang out there. but it's easier said than done when you're coming back from a bad injury like Red Velvet.
Yeah. And knee brace continues to slip down here.
Well, that's exactly what's happening because he's wearing those long spandex pants.
Right.
Tights, I should say. Oh, my goodness! What the hell?
Julia just with the hair whip.
Yeah, that was definitely wicked right there. Well done by Julia.
Julia just improved so much as a pro wrestler. I know we've been talking about that, talking about the cover.
Far leg is hooked, and Velvet able to kick out.
We've been talking about her transformation. You can see it in her face and the way she acts and the black mist. But as a wrestler in the ring and her offense, she has improved so much.
Absolutely. I mean, she's definitely a big fan of her in-ring work and her whole style and her vibe, as I am of Red Velvet. But right now, Velvet's in trouble.
Yeah, this is not how Red Velvet wanted to return to action here after 9 months away from the ring. A very different Julia Hart than Velvet first crossed paths with in 2021.
Strong rear chin lock applied here by Julia.
Julia just really wrenching on Velvet. Tight grip. AEW Dynamite back live from Portland, Oregon. Julia Hart, Red Velvet, one-on-one here tonight. Julia looking to upset Red Velvet's return to action, but Velvet not out of this one yet.
Yeah, no, right now, Julia following up, and you can see Velvet almost just banging up. A nice job, good athleticism there. I was about to say that Red Velvet might be just about done, but no, she's not.
Yeah, she looks like she can barely stand, but she got a lot left.
And fans Rampage Live this Friday night, 10/9 Central on TNT. It has been made official. FTR will take on Commander El Hijo del Vikingo live this Friday night. And then on Saturday, AEW Collision, La Facción Ingobernable, Rush and Jurlistico take on Anthony Henry, JD Drake, the Workhorsemen, and plus Adam Copeland, Darby Allin, and Sting take on Lance Archer and the Righteous. All of that and so much more. Such a big weekend of action here in store from AEW.
Yeah, and meanwhile, it's really a rebound situation here for Red Velvet. Look at this.
Standing moonsault press, Velvet, the leg is hooked, and Julia able to kick out.
A good kick out right there by Julia. She almost got beat. By the way, today, Julia Hart's 22nd birthday, so happy birthday to Julia Hart. I'm sure the House of Black bought her a black cake or something.
I'm sure that you're right.
Like spider webs on it, something like that, or spider webs?
Probably spider webs.
Mothballs. Not the chocolate.
Yeah, look at Red Velvet go down to one knee here, and I just wonder if all that time off has hurt her cardiovascular training.
Could be, yeah, definitely. And that's a good point, Shivani, because you can do all the cardio you want, but there's nothing like wrestling for cardio. When you're not active, it affects your cardio.
Now, Velvet with the wrist brings Julia over the top, and it's like a version of iconoclasm there.
Exactly, and Julia had the toughness to kick out, but that was greatly done by Red Velvet.
You see Velvet, she was pounding that right knee, that braced up knee. Maybe some frustration there. We noticed the knee brace slipping down, coming out of position, taking Velvet off her game.
Well, the thing is, too, guys, she's got to get used to wrestling with this brace. That's something that's you do in training, but when you're out here performing in front of the world, it's a little harder. You got to get used to that.
And look at Julia just contorting the body of Red Velvet, now stomping down on the ribs. Viciousness from Julia Hart.
I was thinking the same thing. How vicious can a lady get? We're seeing it from Julia.
Julia up to the top. Takes a moment to compose herself. Oh, God. Salt press. And the win.
The winner of this match, Julia Hart.
Well, we questioned how Julia Hart would recover for so many months. All she knew was winning. That stopped at Wrestle Dream. But the trend continues, or the trend begins once again here tonight on Dynamite. And Julia now locking in Heartless. After the bell, this is completely unnecessary by Julia Hart.
Yeah, it just shows she's just trying to send that message to the ladies' locker room. And hold on.
Remember, it was Sky Blue who turned things around on Julia Hart last week, blowing the mist.
Yeah, the blue mist.
Into Julia, and now If Sky Blue, I mean, I think Julia's trying to get a look. Does Sky Blue have the mist in her mouth? The stalemate here. Sky Blue just emotionless. The emotionless look on her face, and
we got others.
Willow Nightingale and the TBS champion, Chris Statlander.
Yeah, we've heard the three ladies, Statlander, Willow, and Sky Blue, were talking last couple of weeks.
What is going on here? Chris Statlander finding herself in the middle between Julia Hart and Sky Blue.
Meanwhile, Willow went right to Red Velvet to help her out.
Very interesting situation developing here. And in seemingly all circles around the TBS Championship. But right now, fans, let's go to the back. And our colleague, the regrettable RJ City.